All right, well, shall we begin? If others join us, they'll join us. Well, welcome everyone. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us for our 45-minute Vinyasa practice with the Denver Yoga Club. Let's take a few moments just to become present and settle in. For those of you who are here in real life, you can begin to focus on the sounds and just begin to notice them. And allow those sounds to be your signal to move inside and to begin to notice what's going on internally. So try not to let it distract you. And then once you feel like you've found at least some internal focus, then maybe let your awareness shift to your breath and just begin to notice the breath flowing in and flowing out. Focus on the breath even more deeply. Notice the relationship between the breath and your body. You'll notice that when you breathe in, you feel like your body expands a little bit. And there may be other effects, just notice them. And when you breathe out, you'll feel a slight contraction. Just notice the relationship between the breath and the body. Let's find about 2 more breaths, letting the breath deepen. And 1 more. Now just let the breath go, maybe with a little sigh if that feels good. Reach both arms up and overhead now, then bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and press the palms up towards the sky. Draw your navel in and reach up through the palms. Lift your gaze up so you're looking at the hands, and now stretch up even more. Really draw the shoulders towards the ears, and then level your gaze. Bring the arms out to a T. Take a deep breath. Then as you exhale, very gentle twist to the left. Right hand to left knee. Left hand comes down behind you. Breathe in deeply, drawing the navel in as you breathe in. And do that one more time. Deep breath in, drawing the navel in. And let it go. Back to center. Reach the arms back high. Now bring the left hand down and reach the right hand up and over, staying grounded in the right sitting bone. And reach even more through that right wrist. And then inhale and rise back up. And bring the right hand down and reach the left hand up and over. Stretch it out so you feel a nice stretch on the left side of the body. You can reach a little bit more with that left hand if you like, deepening this sensation. And now engage your core as you rise up. Bring the arms out to a T and take a twist to the right this time. Left hand to right knee, right hand down behind you. Breathe in deeply. Draw the navel in and then exhale and find your twist to the right. Do that one more time, breathing in deeply. Drawing the navel in and back to the right. And then bring it back to center. Bring your hands to your knees. Straighten your elbows if you can so you feel your shoulders rise up. And then instead of pulling the shoulders up towards the ears, pull the shoulders back and down so the chest rises. Take a deep breath. And now relax your shoulders. Relax your neck. The right ear moves towards right shoulder. And then let the chin drop to the chest and then the left ear to the left shoulder. And then do it again. Chin drops to chest, right ear to right shoulder. It's kind of like a pendulum. Just let that motion continue. Notice what it feels like. And 1 or 2 more times. And then chin to chest, and then lift your chin up. Press your palms into the knees, and as you do that, lift your chin even higher. Press your chest up towards the sky. Now as you exhale, press the palms into the knees, bring your chin to your chest, and bring your forehead down towards the mat. Now inhale and rise up. Release your arms now. Reach them up and overhead. And then as you exhale, bring your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Press the skin of your palms together and press the knuckles towards the back of the mat. Try not to arch the back too much. What we're doing here is just drawing the shoulder blades together. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, press the knuckles back. Feel those shoulder blades coming together almost like they're touching. Now hinge at the hips. Keep your spine long. Fold forward. Maybe you... And then inhale and slowly rise all the way back up. Let's do that a second time. Reaching the head forward. You can lift the chin just a little bit. Forehead comes down, maybe touching the mat. And inhale and rise all the way back up. Release the hands now. Reach them high. And then bring them down in front. Press the palms into the mat. Now bend the elbows. Elbows reach out to the side. And bring your forehead down. Touch the mat with your forehead if you can. And then chin on chest, rounding the spine to rise. Reach the arms high. You guys are so far away you can barely hear me. Press the palms into the mat. Lift the chest. Draw the shoulder blades together. Draw the elbows together. 2 more breaths. There are dandelions everywhere. It's like dandelions in bloom. 1 more breath. Now bring the weight forward so it comes off the hands. That'll let your arms float up and overhead. And then exhale and bring the hands down, and let's come to table pose. So I've seen dandelions all over the parks and the right-of-ways in the city, and my theory is that they've stopped spraying for dandelions, which probably is a good thing. Drop the belly, lift the chin, and then exhale into cat pose. Pressing your hands into the mat. Draw the navel in towards the spine. Let your forehead drop down towards the thighs. Do that again. Inhale to cow pose, dropping your belly. Lift the chin a little higher, and exhale to cat. Continue flowing between cow and cat about 3 more times. You can slow it down a little. No reason to rush. And a couple more times through. Just enjoying the flow of the breath and the movement of the body, and notice how they're linked with one another. And 1 more time. Then come back to a neutral spine, back to table pose. Let's step the right foot forward so the right foot ends up between the hands. Then tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat. Right knee bent about 90 degrees. The left leg is straight. Press back on the left heel until you feel a stretch in the back of that left leg, particularly in the calf muscle. Now straighten the right leg. Pull your right hip back. Reach your head forward a little bit. And see if you can pull your left hip forward and pull your right hip back, creating a lot of sensation for most of us in the back of that right leg. Now, bend the left knee, bring it down to the mat, untuck the toes, press into the right foot and rise up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Can you guys actually hear? You can? Okay. Reach up high, and then bring the arms all the way down. Step the right knee back to meet the left knee. Press your hips to the right. Keep both hands on the mat and press the hips over to the left. And to the right. And to the left. I love this. Let's just keep flowing from side to side, opening up those hips, at least the outside portion of the hips. That'll get into the gluteal muscles as well. And then bring it back to center. From there, step your left foot forward so the left foot comes between the hands. Then tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat, straightening that right leg. Left knee bent about 90 degrees. Press back on the right heel till you feel a nice stretch in the calf. Everybody feeling that? Yeah. Now bring the right knee to the mat, untuck the toes, press in the left foot and reach the arms up and overhead. Press the left knee forward a little bit more, reach up through the wrists. And by the way, if you feel a little bit unsteady, heel toe that left foot over to the left a little, giving you a little wider stance will make the pose more stable. Press the left knee forward even more. You feel that in the hip flexor muscles, the top of the right leg? Yeah. And bring the hands down on either side of that left foot. Step the left knee back so it meets the right knee. Now walk the hands forward about 6 inches and then press your tailbone back towards your heels so you're lengthening the spine. Move into it really slowly so you feel a stretch start to come into the shoulders as well as the back. Now glide the hips forward and down. This is the dynamic version of cow and cat. And then press the tailbone back, pressing the hands into the mat. Tailbone reaching towards the heels. Stretch the tailbone back. Lots of length in the spine. Now glide it forward. With the elbows straight, press the palms into the mat. Press your chest forward. Lift the chin a little bit. Feel that beautiful back bend. Now draw the navel up. The core engages as you press back towards child's pose. This can be the last time through. And then glide it forward. Last one. Now pause. About 3 breaths here. See if you can bring your shoulder blades together on the back a little bit. Good adjustment. And then back towards table pose. And from there, let me have you tuck your toes and lift your hips and find downward facing dog. We're going to take 3 breaths now in downward facing dog. 2 more. You can bend your knees a little bit here and think about reaching your tailbone towards the top of the space behind you. If you're inside, that'll be a wall, and it's the sky if you're outside. On an inhale, reach your right leg up and find 3-legged dog. Open the hips to the right, bending the right knee, and then level the hips off and step the right foot forward, bringing it between the hands. Now bring that left knee to the mat and rise to a low crescent lunge. Second time here. This time we're going to add a twist. Press that right knee forward a little bit more. Who sits around all day? Anybody? Yeah? Well, that's what contracts the hip flexor muscles. So this is a wonderful thing to do. You ought to do it, a few times a day, actually, if you're sitting all the time. And it'll stretch those out. Reach up through the wrists. That'll lengthen that stretch, or deepen the stretch, rather. Now the arms come out to a T. Reach the hands apart from one another. Take your twist to the right. Bring the left elbow to the knee. Join the palms. And see if you can stack the right elbow over the palms. Now 3 breaths. Still pressing that right knee forward. So you're still getting some stretch in the hip flexor on the left leg. And 1 more breath. Good job, everybody. Keep the palms together. Press into the right foot. The core engages as you come back to center. Reach up high. And then reach up and back. And then bring the hands down on either side of the right foot. Tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat and step the right foot back into plank pose. Take a breath or 2 in plank. And then when you're ready on the exhale, bring the knees to the mat. And then chest and chin follow as we come into a cobra pose. Lift the heart up off the mat in cobra pose. Tuck the toes, push to plank, and let your hips rise. Downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Press the heels down towards the mat. If you want to pedal it out, feel free to do that, bending one knee and then the other. And on an inhale, left leg rises. 3-legged dog. Open the hips to the left this time. Pressing the right heel down towards the mat, working on stacking the left hip over the right hip. Now level the hips off. And then step your left foot forward so it comes between the hands. And bring the right knee to the mat. Second time here, press into the left foot, reach the arms high. Press that left knee forward. We're really going to stretch out the hip flexor muscles now on that right side. Ooh, man. Try and pull your right hip forward a little bit. Pull the left hip back. Do you notice the difference? Does it deepen the sensation? Now the arms come out to a T. Take a deep breath. Then as you exhale, take your twist to the left. Bring the palms together. And see if you can stack that left elbow over the palms. Keep pressing the left knee forward. Now palms stay together. Come back to center. Then reach the arms up and overhead. Palms together. Look up. And now reach up and back. Pressing that left knee forward as you do. Take a breath. And then exhale. And bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Toes tuck as the right knee comes off the mat. Let's step the right foot forward into a standing forward fold. Let your head drop down in the standing forward fold. You can take opposite elbows here if you want. Breathing deeply. We're going to be here 5 breaths. So take your time and think about lengthening the spine. Keep it going. Breathing deeply. Three more breaths. And two more. And one more breath. Now release the hands down to the mat. See if you can bring your weight into the front of the feet a little bit. Bring your arms out to a T and press into the front of the feet. Your heels almost float as you rise. We're coming all the way up to mountain pose. Arms reach high. Bring the palms together and then press them together as you pull your hands to heart center. On an inhale, reach up and back into a back bend and then fold forward. Come to a half lift with the hands at the top of the shins, or actually anywhere on the shins, or even all the way down to the mat if you want. Now take a deep breath and then exhale. Let your head drop down. The knees can bend a little bit. Chin on chest, round the spine as you rise, and let your arms float up and overhead. Now take a hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Bring your feet so they're about hip width apart. And we're just going to do a little bend. And I'll turn this way so the people on Zoom can see. Press your hips to the right and pull that right wrist over to the left. Now keep the core engaged and rise up. Switch your grip and go over to the other side. Stretch it out. So you're pulling that left side. Core engages as you rise and back over to the other side. And let's finish it out. Switching the grip. Now finish by pressing the palm up towards the sky and then lift your gaze up, looking towards that left palm like you're pushing the sky away from you. And then release the arms and swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift. And exhale, bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Right foot stays down, left foot steps back into runner's lunge. Right foot steps back to meet it into plank pose. And flow through a vinyasa now, upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. On the inhale, right leg rises. Oops, the right leg rises and step the right foot forward between the hands. And step the left foot forward to meet it, standing forward fold. Arms out to a T, press into the front of the feet and rise. Arms float high, reach up and look up. And exhale the hands to heart center. Let's go through that again. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive. Beautiful swan dive down into a half lift. And then exhale the hands all the way down to the mat. This time step your right foot back. The left foot stays forward. Then step the left foot back to meet the right foot in plank pose. Take a breath and let it go. Do that again. Deep breath and let it go. Now we're going to roll over into a side plank. Right hand down, left hand reaches high. You can reach that left hand forward if you want and even pick the foot up, that left foot, if you want to. It's all up to you. And then release the foot, release the hand, flow through vinyasa, upward facing dog. Press the heart and navel forward, deepening the back bend. And then when you're ready, slowly into downward facing dog on the exhale. On an inhale, lift the right leg up. And then step the right foot forward. The left foot's going to follow, standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. Now interlace the fingers behind the back, straighten the elbows, and reach the knuckles up and maybe forward. Bring the weight into the front of the feet. Now slowly rise. Deep, deep core engagement as you come up. And once you're all the way up, pause, press the knuckles down, take a breath. Release the arms again. We're going to do that side stretch, same way. Take a hold of the right wrist with the left hand, then press the hips over to the right, pull to the left, and then back to center, switch the grip. Stretch. And back to center. Keep the core engaged the whole time. And stretch. Last one. And then press up through that left palm. Lift your gaze. And then release the arms all the way down. Just let them all come down. Thumbs point out. Palms facing forward. Just let the breath wash over you. One more. Now let your arms reach all the way up and overhead. Exhale the hands to heart center. Keep them there, hinge at the hips. Come down halfway, pause. Press the palms together. Bring the weight into the front of the feet so your heels are floating. Keep pressing into the front of the feet, the balls of the feet as you rise. Keep your heels floating. Spine stays long the whole way. Do that a second time. Halfway down. Keep the spine long. Press into the front of the feet and rise back up. And we're going to do that one more time. Halfway down. And then rise all the way back up. And then release your arms and swan dive to a forward fold. Come to a half lift. Bring the hands down. Step the left foot back into runner's lunge. Leave the left hand on the mat and reach your right hand high into a lunge twist. That right knee is still bent and pointing forward. And you're pressing back on the left heel. Now bring the right hand down. Plant it on the mat to the inside of the right foot and reach the left hand up. Now spin the left heel to the mat, anchor into the pinky toe of the left foot, and rise to Warrior Two. Settle into the pose. Maybe bend the right knee a little bit more, so it's bent up to 90 degrees. And bring your gaze forward so you're looking over the extended right hand. Now reverse warrior. The right knee stays bent and pointing forward. Reach the right hand up and back. Keep pressing the right knee forward. Left leg is straight. And now extended side angle pose, elbow to knee. Reach with the left hand. Stretch it out. That left elbow right over the head. Rise through Warrior Two, back to Reverse Warrior, second time here. And then back to extended side angle pose. Feel the stretch on the left side of the body. One more time through, rising to Reverse Warrior pose. And then back to extended side angle pose. Then back to Warrior Two. Take a breath. How the quads feel on the right leg. Good? Yeah, awesome. Now straighten the right leg. We'll take some of that pressure off the quadricep muscles on the right leg. Reverse triangle, left hand comes down, right hand reaches up and over. Remember to press into the right foot here. Now bring the arms out to a T. We're going to move towards triangle pose. Reach the right hand forward and drop it down. Triangle pose. Left hand over the left shoulder if you can. Left shoulder over right shoulder. So make sure your shoulders are open, or the chest is open. Now bend the right knee, and then rise, Warrior Two. Take a breath. Now bring the hands down on either side of the right foot and come up onto the ball of the left foot to runner's lunge. And then bring the left knee to the mat, untuck the toes on the left foot, and bring the right hand inside the right foot. So both hands are inside the right foot. You got it. And now lizard pose. Come down to the elbows if you can. If you can't come all the way down, just keep your palms on the mat, but bend the elbows and let your chest come down as far as it can. And this is going to create a huge stretch in the hips on the right, or the hip muscles on the right side. You can let that right knee move over to the right a little bit if you want, or maybe move it back to the left towards the shoulder, or the right rather towards the shoulder. And let's come out of the pose. Walk the hands back, then tuck the toes, bring the left knee off the mat, move your right hand outside the foot, and then step the right foot back to plank pose. Take a breath. And two more. One more breath. Now the side plank, left hand down, right hand up. You can pick that right foot up if you want, and maybe reach the right hand forward if that's something you want to do. Release the foot, release the hand, and flow through a vinyasa. Upward facing dog. And finish into downward facing dog. Couple of big deep breaths here. Pressing the heels down towards the mat. Pressing the palms into the mat. So you're creating lots of length in the back. And if you want to, remember you can bend your knees here if that helps you lengthen the spine even more. Now bend the knees and take a hop
so the feet end up between the hands. Let your head drop down. Bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, straighten the elbows and reach the knuckles up and maybe forward. Press into the front of the feet as you rise, nice and slow. We've done this is the third time now coming up this way. Take a breath and let it go. How's the breath feel? Good? It's wonderful to be outside breathing this air. And people on Zoom, one day you'll join us here, I'm sure. One more breath. Release the hands now. Let them float up. And then to heart center. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. Come to a half lift. Hands at the top of the shins. Press the palms into the shins. We're going to pause here for a moment and just feel this pose. This pose is called Ardha Uttanasana. It's a half lift. And the idea here is to lengthen the spine by reaching your tailbone back and reaching your head forward. You may even feel a little stretch in the neck. Now a little bend in the knees just to take the pressure off the hamstrings, and then slowly fold forward. Let your head drop down. Bring the hands to the mat and step the right foot back. The left foot stays forward. Bend the left knee so it's bent about 90 degrees. Good job. Now right hand plants, left hand reaches up as we come into a lunge twist. And then let's go to the other side. The left hand down, inside the left foot, the right hand reaches up. Now spin the right heel to the mat, and then rise to Warrior Two. Take a breath. Settle into the pose. Bend the left knee a little bit more. Left knee pointing straight forward. That's it. Kind of follows the toes. Now, you remember the reverse warrior. Left knee stays bent, pointing forward. Reach up and back, so you feel a big stretch on the left side. Let's take 2 more breaths. Try it. Jane, bring your foot over here a little bit. That way. This way? Yeah. And then, no, the heel. And then the toes point straight forward. Now you got it. Now extended side angle pose. Elbow comes to knee. Reach through the right hand. Anchor into the pinky toe of that right foot. So really press the pinky toe down. Inhale, rise, reverse warrior again. That left knee stays bent. Try not to straighten it. And then extended side angle, second time. And one more, rising reverse warrior pose. Awesome. And extended side angle pose, last one. Now really stretch this out. Kind of roll your right ankle towards the back of your mat. So you're really emphasizing the pinky toe. Now rise, reverse triangle, left leg straightens, reach up and back with the left hand as you press in the left foot. And now arms come out to a T. And press into the right foot, reach the left hand forward. You remember how to do this. Now drop the left hand down, right hand reaches, spine stays nice and long. Michelle, open your right shoulder a little bit more. There you go. You got it. 2 more breaths. Beautiful triangle poses. Oh, these little pine cones here. They're just little itty bitty ones. Left knee bends, rise, warrior two. Settle into the pose. Good. Now bring the hands down on either side of the left foot and come up onto the ball of the back foot, the right foot. So your heel is lifted. And then bring the left hand inside the left foot. Untuck the toes and bring the right knee to the mat. We're moving towards lizard pose on our second side. And then you can come down to the elbows if you're able. And if you can't come all the way down to the elbows, maybe bend the elbows a little bit so that your chest comes down a bit. Let the hips drop down a little as well. Two more breaths. Stay with it. Breathe into the pose. And one more breath. Awesome work, everybody. Walk back up onto the hands. Tuck the toes, bring the right knee off the mat. Left hand comes to the outside of the left foot. Now step the left foot back to plank pose. Take a breath. Let the breath go. Do that twice more. Deep breath in. Let the breath go, and one more time. Big, deep breath. And now another side plank. Right hand stays down. Roll over on the pinky toe side of the right foot. Left hand reaches up. Take a breath. And then bring the left hand down. Flow through a vinyasa. It's not a plural, is it? And into downward facing dog. And then glide forward to plank. Let's find the other side of our side plank. So leave the left hand down, reach the right hand up. You're rolling over onto the pinky toe side of that left foot. One more breath. Awesome. Right hand comes down. Flow through vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga end upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. Stretch it out now. Let your heart drop down a little bit more towards the mat. That's it. Now child's pose. Bring the knees to the mat. Bring the knees apart so that the knees come towards the edges of the mat. And then press your hips down towards your heels. And walk the hands forward a little bit. Elbows straight if you can. Elbows off the mat if you're able. As you do that, you'll probably feel a stretch in the shoulders. Maybe elsewhere in the back. Maybe also feel a nice stretch in the hips. But your mileage may vary. You may feel something different than all that. If you can, let your forehead rest on the mat and just breathe. 3 more breaths. We're doing a total of 7. Two more. Nice deep breath. And now slowly rise. And bring the knees back so they're about hip width apart. Then come up to kneeling so that your shoulders are over your hips are over your knees. We're going to do camel pose. So bring the hands to the low back, fingers pointing down, so your fingers are kind of on your butt. And then pull your elbows together a little bit. That'll open up the heart space. And then press the heels of your hands right into your waist. And press your waist forward. And as that happens, let your head drop back. Let your shoulder blades come closer together. And see if you can stay for 3 more breaths, dropping more deeply into the back bend. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now slowly rise. Keep pressing the hands into the back to support you as you rise. And then reach the arms high. Let your hips drop to your heels. And bring the hands down in front. Walk the hands forward. Let your forehead come down. And then bring your hands behind you. And don't interlace them. Just let the hands rest on the mat. Yeah, so the shoulders drop down. So the knees and the legs are supporting your upper body. And just sort of let the shoulders melt down towards the mat. Maybe feeling a stretch between the shoulder blades. 2 more breaths. This is a variation on child's pose. And 1 more breath. Slowly come back up. And then bring your right leg forward, straightening the right leg. And then bring the left leg forward as well. Press through the heels. Reach up high. Now point the toes so the toes point towards the front of your mat. Keep your spine long. Hinge at the hips and fold forward. And then inhale and rise back up. Do that again, reaching forward and rising up. And 1 more time, reaching forward, really stretch for the feet. And then inhale and rise all the way back up, and then release the hands and bring them down. Press the palms into the mat. Thumbs are pointing kind of towards your hips. Press the palms into the mat. Notice your elbows are bent just a little bit, most of you. And now straighten the elbows just a bit, and then pull your shoulders back and down, and maybe your butt will lift up off the mat. Did it come off the mat? Yeah, a little bit. And then let the elbows bend. Now, bend the left knee and bring the sole of the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Lean over onto that right hip, and then bend the left knee and bring that left hip. The little kids playing in the park. Bring that left heel back towards the hip. Okay? Now hug the right knee in. Sorry, the left knee in with your right hand. Left hand comes behind you. Press down on both sitting bones. Breathe in, and then exhale and twist, looking over to your left. Do that again. Deep breath in. Yeah, bend the knee. And exhale and twist, hugging the knee in towards the chest. And one more time. Deep breath in. Exhale and twist. And let it go. Bring it all back to center. And let's go over to the other side. So bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the right foot to the outside of the left thigh. And, whoops. That's not right. It's the other way. So bend the right knee. Is that what I said? Who knows? Bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the right foot outside the left thigh. And then lean over onto that hip. Bend that knee and bring the left heel to the right hip. Okay? Are we there? I hope. Now hug the knee in. Plant the right hand behind you. As you breathe in, feel your spine lengthening. No slouching here. Draw the navel in, and then exhale and twist. Hug that knee in really close to the body. Do that twice more. Deep breath in, drawing the navel in and twisting. And one more time. Deep, deep breath in. Draw the navel in and then exhale into the twist. And then let it go. Bring it all back to center. Bring both legs out. Give them a little shake. Slap the back of the knees into the mat. And then bend the knees. Flip the palms so they face up. You haven't gotten completely out of more abdominal work or core work. So I want you to roll until you feel your tailbone in contact with the mat. Probably about here. And you're probably drawing your navel in at the same time. Now come down a little bit more till you're feeling pretty deep contact between the tailbone and the mat, and maybe even the sacrum touching the mat. Anybody feeling that? Yeah? Now roll down a little bit more until you get those lumbar vertebra touching into the mat. And now you're starting to really feel it in the abdominal muscles. Now slowly roll it all the way down, getting the whole lumbar spine, and then the thoracic spine, and then the shoulder blades. And then pick your feet up off the mat. Bring your hands to your feet into the happy baby pose. Hands in the pinky toe side of the feet. And 3 more breaths. Total of 5. Remember to try and bring your tailbone down towards the mat. Make an effort to press the lumbar spine away from your mat. Press it down so it's pressing down towards the mat. Remember to relax the back of your shoulders as well. Back of the shoulders coming to the mat if you can, or at least down towards the mat. Release the hands from the feet now. Reach the heels to the sky. Let's find legs up the wall pose. Bring your hands down by your side, palms facing down. Press the tailbone down. Press up through the soles of the feet, the heels and the balls of the feet. So the feet are parallel to the sky. Your chest. And then release the left knee and straighten the left leg, pressing the left leg forward. And hug that right knee in towards the right armpit. Hug it in really tight, so you're really stretching it out. Press the left heel forward. Now bring the left knee back. Hug both knees into the chest again.
And then we go to the other side. So both hands transfer the left knee, press the right heel straight forward, hug the left knee in towards the left armpit. Press the right heel away. Now both knees hug into the chest again. We'll go through that one more time on each side. So hug the knees in. Now hands transfer to the right knee. Press through the left heel. So really straighten the left leg. Press the left heel forward towards me. And then bend the left knee. Both knees hug in. And this is our last one. Both hands on the left knee. Hug that left knee towards the chest. Press the right heel forward. And then bend the right knee. Bring it back in. You're going to release the hands from the feet now. We're going to do a supine figure 4 pose. So bring your right ankle to your left knee. And then interlace the fingers behind the left leg. Hug the left knee in. And use the strength of your right leg to press the right knee away. So wonderful pose for opening up the hip. Here we're working on that right side. Couple more breaths. Keep pressing that right knee away. And one more breath. And release from this side. Let's go right over to the other side. So bring the left ankle to the right knee. Interlace the fingers behind that right leg. And if you're really flexible, you can interlace the fingers below the knee, so you're capturing the whole leg. And if you're not quite that flexible, interlace the fingers above the knee, so you only have the upper part of the leg captured. Hug the knee in a little bit more and press with that left knee, pressing the left knee away. And one more breath. And release from the pose. Release. And then reach both feet up and overhead. We're going to come back to legs up the wall pose. And now I'm going to give you an option. You can stay right where you are in legs up the wall pose. It's a wonderful pose to be in for 5 or 7 breaths. Or you can move into plow pose, bringing your feet up and overhead and touching the toes down on the grass or the floor behind you. It's your option. Either plow or legs up the wall. And 2 more breaths wherever you are. Release now to legs up the wall pose. We'll all meet in legs up the wall. Now, keep both legs straight and bring the right heel down to the mat. Bring the arms out to a T, palms face down. Bring the left foot across the body and over to the right side. And if you want to, you can get a hold of the big toe on the left foot with your right hand. It's optional. If you're able to do that, that'll deepen the stretch. This little spinal rotation that we're doing. Take a breath and let the breath go. Just soften into it. Do that again, a big deep breath. And let it go. Bring that left leg back to center. Point the toes on both feet and press the toes away. So really point the toes. Keep both legs straight and swap the legs out. So the right leg stays up and the left comes down. And you got it. That right leg comes across the body and over to the side. And if you want, you can get a hold of the big toe on the right foot with your left hand. Now 5 breaths. Try and relax the back of the right shoulder so it settles down to the mat, deepening your twist. Two more breaths. And let it go. Bring that right leg back up. Left leg follows it back to legs up the wall. Hands come down by your side. And then bend the knees so your heels come down towards your butt. And then hug your knees into your chest. You can bring your forehead towards your knees if you like, rounding the spine deeply. Maybe rock forward and back if that feels good. Little spinal massage. And eventually rock yourself into a seat. And once you're seated, you can bring your hands to heart center. Let your eyes close down. And take 3 breaths. With each breath, feel your spine lengthening. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face, relax the jaw. One more deep breath. And then let the breath flow out. And those of you who are here in the park, just take a moment to notice the sounds. And try and adopt a neutral attitude towards the sounds. Just recognize they're here. They're neither good nor bad. They're just sounds. Now join me, if you like, in offering loving kindness. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. May you be peaceful, and may you be at ease. Namaste. Well, thank you, everyone.